And so in November 1947, the UN adopted a plan for Palestine that was called Partition. Yet this wasn't so much a plan of partition as it was a plan of Zionist expansion. You see, this plan called for the expansion of Zionist control in Palestine from 6% of the total territory to 55%. Some 500,000 Arabs and their property were to fall under the control of land-hungry Zionist institutions. Moreover, these Zionist institutions would become a sovereign state, which means that the Zionists would be free to open the gates for millions of Jewish immigrants to amass within Palestine. Furthermore, they will be able to turn their militias into powerful, regular armed forces. One Palestinian leader predicted that the Zionists would, quote, establish a giant air force and build atomic weapons with which to overawe the Arab world. It's also important to understand that it was by no means clear that partition would be the end of Zionist expansion. Already in 1937, David Ben Gurion explained that, quote, a partial state isn't the end but rather the beginning. Every growth in our power helps us to acquire the entire land. The establishment of a state, even if partial, will be used as a powerful lever in our historical efforts to redeem the land in its entirety. The Palestinian leadership turned down this UN plan of Zionist expansion. Instead, they insisted on the establishment of a single democratic state that would allow Palestinians to defend their property and their way of life from the encroachments of Zionism. It was decided to resist the implementation of the UN plan with political pressure as well as with force. By the way, revisionist Zionists, who today rule the state of Israel, also turned down the 1947 UN plan because they demanded and acted to forcefully take the entire land immediately. In any case, the Palestinian society, materially speaking, was no match to the Zionist state in the making. For a few months, Jews and Arabs exchanged blows. Both sides blew up bombs in public places and committed massacres. But after receiving a huge delivery of weapons from Czechoslovakia by courtesy of Stalin, the Zionist militias overran the Palestinians from the beginning of April 1948. From this point forward, the war was becoming completely one-sided. Palestinian society was in total collapse. It was rendered defenseless. Only at this late stage of the war, and after Palestinian refugees had already begun to appear in neighboring Arab countries with testimonies of the atrocities they endured, only then did the neighboring Arab governments intervene with a ground invasion into Palestine. The new Jewish state, Israel, was able to ward off this invasion after a difficult struggle. It ended up taking over 77% of the land between the river and the sea. It also pushed up to 1 million Palestinians out of this territory and barred them from return under the pain of death. Their property was either taken or destroyed, their lands were appropriated. Up to 500 villages were erased from the map. Palestinians who remained in what became the State of Israel were subjected to emergency laws for 20 years, which allowed the State of Israel to control and gradually dispossess them.